Night gathers, and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my death. I shall take no wife, hold no lands, father no children. I shall wear no crowns and win no glory. I shall live and die at my post. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the shield that guards the realms of men. I pledge my life and honor to the Night's Watch, for this night and all the nights to come. Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Brotherhood of Shadows, a Song of Ice and Fire story. I will be your chronicler, Pope, and we've got one hell of a tale to tell you tonight, and an amazing cast to do it with. But first, let's do the aforementioned house cleaning and housekeeping. This is a Song of Ice and Fire tale. As such, there are going to be dark themes as there are in a dark low fantasy setting. So there will be death, there will be murder, there will be swearing, there will be violence. So first and foremost, please take care of yourselves. So if you need to take a break from this, more power to you. We will not be offended. Your safety is of the most importance. That being said, we are also using safety tools here to keep us safe. We are using the lines and veils, the X, N, and O cards, to make certain that what we're doing does not hurt us and keeps everyone here at the table in a safe state. But now, some thank yous for some folks that are helping us bring the magic together. I'd like to thank Michael Gelfi and Rock Narden for the music that we'll be using this evening as they continue to support Penny for a Tale. With that, let's get into our fantastic cast. So, Colin, tell us about yourself and tell us about your brother.
I am Colin, at @Kelly on Twitter. I do a bunch of stream stuff. I'll do proper and stuff. I'll do proper in that. But my brother of the Night's Watch is Dawsin. No last name, just Dawsin. The big boy, I think is the best way to put it. And I think we'll get further descriptions once we get in.
Yeah, I look forward to our meaty brother. Someone else who is fond of our meaty brother, Spence. How you doing, Spencer?
I am doing great. I am Spencer, or at SpencerDVA on Twitter, and I'll be playing. Last name is a bastard name of Storm. A brother of the Night's Watch since he was a younger teenager. And as Pope said, rather fond of Dawsin.
Someone who is fond to be here, but not necessarily at the wall. Celeste, tell us about Bryndon.
Hi, I'm Celeste, and Bryndon Flowers, another bastard, is a pretty boy from the Reach who got himself into some trouble and had to go take the oath and take the black, and now he's here, and he's not too happy about it, but what are you going to do?
Well, that's fair. There are very few who are jolly to be at the wall. But probably our gentleman of the most tenure at said wall is Stryke, played by the wonderful Greg. Hey, Greg, how are you doing this evening?
Hi, everybody. I'm Greg. I normally running games over at Blackshield Productions, but today I'm here. I'm playing Stryke. He's an old survivalist, not environmentalist, who's spent a lot of time here, getting a little jaded and kind of given up on that last name or the history that he had once before he came to the wall. And now all there is ice and snow and water, and doom.
Doom. I am all here for that doom. Speaking of doom, it is now time for us to zoom in on just where we are, when we are. So I want you to breathe in that cold, salt air as we are to the north, at the wall, at Eastwatch by the sea. We're right at the edge, the one trade port the Brothers of the Night's Watch have with the rest of the world, really. It is just as the unpleasantries that will be known later in history as the Blackfire Rebellion are just starting to erupt. Do we meet our fellows here at Eastwatch, along the Dark Tower, where the narrow sea rages. There are dark things in those waters, far worse than pirates, far worse than wildlings. But we'll get to those later. Right now, we zoom in on Brother Bryndon. Where are you in the keep right now, Bryndon?
I imagine that I am out in the courtyard, probably working on my sword work, which is still, it's not atrocious, not anymore, but it's still not great.
Okay, so you're there with one of the training dummies, practicing on your sword work. And as you are practicing, you hear on the balcony above you the more high-pitched, pleasant voice of your young maester. And that is young Maester Lucas Mooten. He has been at the wall now with the Brothers of Eastwatch for all of maybe 5 years. He's incredibly gifted in medicine, has a remarkable way with animals, and is known to be more than a little gullible. The young Maester is standing side by side with Commander Narbo and Storis. Former pirate, has been a little bit of everywhere. Hated by the other commanders in the wall, loved by his men, a reasonable man in an unreasonable world. Maester Lucas, I really don't care what's going on in the Crown Lands. I don't give a fuck. If they're going to start unpleasantries, by all means. We're well supplied and well managed, aren't we, Maester? Yes, Commander, but this may affect tithes and support. I really don't care. Until it actually starts making its unpleasantness known up here, let the petty kings be petty kings. Bryndon, your footwork's garbage. See if you can't find Stryker somewhere. Rouse the old coot. Have him go over your foot drills again.
Yes, Commander.
Don't want you dying there tomorrow. You're going out.
Out, Commander.
Yes. You and the new green ones that aren't too green are going to go get blooded. There's been sightings of irregularities in the wolf population. You're to find them and end them and come back alive.
Yes, Commander. Right away, sir.
So go find Stryke, go through your drills. We'll be leaving in the morning. Where do we find Stryke?
Well, Stryke's not too interested to be inside the keep, so he's on a wall somewhere, staring off at the north, waiting for the next chance he gets to disappear into the wilderness.
As you're standing at the walls and things are quiet, a good bit before Bryndon eventually finds his way up to your snowy watch, there's another brother in black standing near you. His name is Bandrick Bruce. Wild-haired, black-maned fellow. Definitely carries himself a bit too haughtily. But beneath that veneer is a loyal and fierce combatant amongst the brothers. If a bit lazy, and if has a propensity to get in trouble, the Black Lion is one of the rangers. And he is here looking a little bit sour. Stryke. Unfortunately, it seems we're being saddled with babysitting tomorrow.
Babies aren't babies for long. They either grow up or they die.
Yeah, well, as much as I would like to just take things easy, the commander gets awfully curt with those that don't bring all their folks back. And frankly, I'm not fond of being on one of the ships. It doesn't suit my stomach.
Well, I guess we'll just have to keep them alive then.
That would be appreciated. Again, I'm not used to holding hands out there. When I go out there, it's because something's bad. This is the first time he's seen to discipline me by doing something this foolish.
Well, if you're looking for me to hold hands, you're probably looking the wrong way, but I'll try and make sure their injuries aren't fatal.
As long as they can come back on their own 2 feet, that's all I care about. I don't want to be hauling or dragging anybody. That's awful.
Now that's an experience, having to haul a wounded person back a couple of miles. I had to do that about 10 years ago. All the way, like 6 miles through the mountains to the north. It was... You would have not enjoyed it, I imagine.
No! I hate the fact that you're smiling. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's at this moment, Bryndon, you find the 2 of them.
Stryke, sir. The commander wants you to drill me again, sir. I promise I didn't mean to phrase it that way, sir.
Have fun, Stryke. I'm gonna go and get the supplies ready for tomorrow. See you later.
I'll go do some hand holding. Come.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We cut away from this most awkward of moments at the wall. And we come to find our brother Dawsin. Where is he?
He's probably just firewood right now. And there's probably another person on firewood there, but it's like that scene from the Avengers where man are both chopping wood and there's just one massive pile as together. There's probably a good foot or 2 taller than the other brother there. And he just has a hand right now chopping wood with seemingly no ease, probably eating like jerk something with the other. Meanwhile, his actual axe might be near the size of the other brother and is propped up against the wall.
Your other brother is not as big as you, but that's an understatement. However, he is a larger fellow. His name is Gary. He's relatively new, all the way from Oldcastle. Rumor has it he murdered a man in a bar fight and was given the choice of hanging or taking the black. He's a heavy-muscled fellow. Not the brightest bulb in the box, but he's got that surprising speed for a man of his weight and size. And he takes orders well enough. So they're thinking of possibly making him a ranger, as he has kept pace with you, for the most part, in chopping all that damn wood. I'm sorry, sir. You think we're through?
Yeah, we always need help here.
Okay, I can do more, but my arms are starting to get tired.
Yeah, go take a break. I'll keep going.
Okay, brother. Want me to go to the mess and bring you something back?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Suit yourself. And with that, as he takes his leave, Elyon, where we find you?
Elyon's probably, where we have that signal horn. I'm assuming it's up on the wall.
Yes, at the top of the tower, right near the scorpion, the very one that fell a dragon a while ago. At least, there's proof enough of its handiwork, as a horn of said dragon sits in the feast hall. The horn is there.
Okay, yeah, then that's probably where Elyon would be. They're taller than average. He's probably about a little over 6 feet tall, probably 6'2", 6'3". Kind of this tied back black hair that has a streak of silver in it, and has a little bit of like a scraggly beard. Sort of, if you took Ragnar from the Vikings TV show and basically give him black hair, that's essentially what he looks like. And he's probably just sitting there eating and just sort of admiring the dragon horn that sits in the feast hall.
All right. And after a bit of you sitting there eating, a newer brother comes up to you. Brother Ferris the Fair. Mummer. Also from the Reach. Rumor has it he sung a tale that did not please a young lord. And that displeasure ended up with him all the way up here. He is not made for a place like this. Not one bit.
Of course they're not.
He can hold a sword with some effort. More effort, he might be able to swing it. He's sharp of wit, sharp of mind, knows a ton about songs, music, history, manners. He does not belong here, and without help, he will die. And he comes to you, going, brother,
What is it, Ferris?
orders from the commander. You and I are both going out tomorrow. Something about wolves.
So, Commander Yarbo is having me help babysit a bunch of greenbacks, I assume?
I believe the term he used is blooding, sir.
Gotta kill something sometime.
Yeah, I guess.
You sure you're gonna be able to swing a sword?
I was thinking I might bring a bow.
You've been doing somewhat better with that than a blade, but we'll see what happens.
Any advice on... I've never gone hunting before.
Well, I'm more fond of the crossbow than the bow and arrow, but it's fairly simple. You just aim the arrow where you want it to go, then
Okay, sir. See you in the morning. According to the commander,
Yeah.
we're supposed to pack light, but for a harsh winter.
of course.
Well, see you in the morning, sir.
See you in the morning.
And with that, we're going to cut away from the castle for a moment. We find ourselves on the narrow sea. In the far distance, there might be what looks like a tower, a spit of land from this ship that we are set upon. Ship with black sails. Black sails that denote the Night's Watch. That tower off the coast, as it comes more and more to view, is something old, ruined. It may have been made by the Brotherhood once. It may have been made by the wildlings. Maybe the children of the forest, who knows? It's been so long. But as it comes further and further to view, from the deck of that vessel, all of a sudden the wind starts to pick up. There's hollering, but we can't quite understand it from where we are. As all of a sudden the entire ship rocks hard to the left. We hear something butting up against the bottom of the boat. There's a bunch of screaming atop as weapons and bows are being drawn, harpoons, as they start scouring across on the sides of the vessel, men in black cloaks. Then we just see the back of a thing. It's not a single dorsal fin. It's more like a spinal ridge. Bones hard and sharp. Something that is entirely unnatural to our world. But to here, it's just one of the many threats in the water. As it drags itself underneath the boat, we can hear timbers starting to buckle and shatter as the screaming starts. And we pull back to see the ship listing in the water, over the shoulder of a woman in white. And then cut back to Eastwatch, where it is late evening. There's a number of brothers along the wall, manning their posts, seeing to things like that scorpion, like the trebuchet in the courtyard. Something's got the men on edge. Something new. But we're not entirely certain what. Seems the scuttlebutt says that there's more than just wolves out there. Rumors that this is not an ordinary blooding. It's got the men ill at ease. But no one's ill at ease enough to confront the commander. Just ill at ease enough to start that little bit of whispers in the dark. And as we see Ferris the Fair talking with Gary, our man from Oldcastle. I don't think I'm gonna make it. You'll make it fine. Stop fretting. It's just wolves. Yeah, but this must be dire up here. Dire, not dire, they're just wolves. Might be bigger than normal wolves. It's just an animal. Just hold to your bow, hold to your oath, and stay behind the biggin. I hear Dawson's going with us. He doesn't let anyone die. He'll drag us all back if he has to. So count your blessings. Pray to the seven. We leave in the morning. It's morning. As you're all assembled in the courtyard, Dawsin, Elyon, Stryke, Bryndon. Also going with you is Bandrick Bruce, our wild-haired fellow ranger. Ogden, a ruddy-faced fellow, short, stout, bright-eyed. Rumor has it he's here from the Vale, a thief. The commander has eyes on him to be a builder, as he seems to be able to get into places far more narrow than his frame would suggest he can get in and out of. Ferris the Fair, Gary, our large fellow, and then also with them is Edmure Perrin, fifth son of House Perrin of the Riverlands. Knows little that would be useful here. Incredibly bookish and likely to die. With him, still fiddling with the dagger and sword he's bringing with himself on this hunt, is Steward Hughes Waterman. He's probably the most well-trained of the greenskins here, as he was a noble of House Waterman. Took the black to get out of a terrible arranged marriage. Well built, smart, has initiative, and rumor has it, if he can actually stay alive up here and not fuck things up, he's fast on his way to possibly be getting a captaincy of one of the ships. And so, this is your merry band. 10 men against the cold, being sent with no horses, told to pack light, told to pack for the cold. Commander's actually there for once, which Stryke, Dawsin, Elyon, you know this isn't normal. All right. So, you are to go out. You greenhorns are to get blooded. There's been sightings of direwolves acting weird out towards the haunted forest. Now, this might just be some of the lads pulling our legs, as direwolves don't normally get seen. They usually get eaten. There are plenty of wildlings who find wolf to be a fine meal, and if they're dumb enough, a fine pet. So, you have to go out, find these wolves, kill them if you can. Bearing that, if you can't find them, you're to head north to the Broken Tower. Ship went missing 2 days ago. Scouts say it may have crashed out near there. Do whatever happens first. Come back alive. Those are your orders. Now get. And so, with that, the portcullis rises in the lower part of the wall, and the 10 of you are let out into the snow. It's cold. It's cold even for here. And the salt wind has been blowing harder and harder with each passing week. It's almost to the point of being abrasive. Almost. But it's wet, it's cold, and it's cutting as you make your way out into the cold. Who's leading?
I'm happy to take point, although I also did want to kind of do at least a cursory glance at the Greenhorn's survival gear to make sure I don't see anything that looks horrible.
I'm not gonna have to make you make a roll here. No, their kit is all put together. But if you do want to give me a roll, if you're really inspecting, you might find some things. I'll leave that to you.
Do you want like a perception or a survival?
For this, if you're doing the gear, I want, in this case, since you're noticing something out of place, let's do an awareness notice.
That looks like a 14.
14, okay. It's not that they don't have enough survival gear. It's that maybe Ferris and Ogden packed a little too much. Like, Ferris has went and raided the pantry for any sort of sweet cake that might survive the trip, and has taken all of them and put him in his pack. maybe a couple in his pockets. We're not sure. You haven't checked his pockets yet. And Ogden, you realize he's carrying an awful lot of knives. Most brothers are only issued like two survival knives, a dagger, maybe a sword. Anything that might be stiff enough to quickly cut a man that he could get his grubby little hands on is in his pack or on his person.
What's going on, Stryke?
Well, I give Ferris just kind of a look, but I'm not too concerned about extra food. That's a problem will solve itself in a bit. But I look at Ogden and then I look over at Elyon. Well, Ogden here feels like he might need some more sharp things, I think. I kind of reach over and finger one of the least useful knives he's got on him.
Hey, you never know when you just need to poke someone and run.
You normally only need a couple for that, not 6.
There's an awful lot of wild things out here, sir. I wanted to make sure I had one for each of them that I might come across.
Yeah, well, hunting wolves can
viewers.
You can poke the wolves, they'll catch it though. Clear trying to tease them out.
It's not really my concern that you're going to be able to stab something, but more that each one of those weighs a pound or two, and we got a long hike ahead. So I wouldn't be falling behind, right?
I will make certain not to fall behind, sir.
If you do that, we can leave those like breadcrumbs behind us so that we'll know how to get back by following the knives.
Just a trail of butter knives.
No, he's taken all of the good hardy cutlery, anything that won't bend easy, that has a sharp enough point that if he finds a chink, it is going to stab a man. He has taken all of those.
Particularly sharp fork.
His hands on.
It's got like one of those steak fork things on him somehow. You're like, wait.
This is old-time cutlery, so it's mostly wrought iron that has been sharpened to a point and has given just enough of an edge to cut through whatever meat. He's got a lot of it. It is enough that 2 inches is going to be in someone, but not more than 2 inches.
Here's the thing, Ogden. A good brother will only need to carry 2 because he'll know not to lose his weapons. And I'll just take like a couple of them and literally just throw them like through the portcullis.
All right, sir.
Seems like Ferris has been smarter than you.
I was just making certain that we had something nice on the road.
But you also didn't bring enough weapons to supply a small army with you, Ferris.
No, I just brought the stuff I was told to bring, which is the bow, I think 20 arrows, a sword, and a dagger.
Are you telling me the truth, Ferris, other than the sweet cakes?
Everyone has told me to bring enough for everybody. I brought enough for everyone.
I just give Ferris like
I brought an extra 10 for Dawsin.
Ferris the fair, more like Ferris the sweet.
maybe. Oh no! What just happened?
Well, it looks like we may have lost Spence just then. I think you're back. We lost you for a second, friend.
Okay.
Yeah, you're back. So.
Did you miss what I said? I assume.
You lost.
Okay. I just basically said I give Ferris like a little bit too hard of a smack on the shoulder and walk away.
And so now, Greg, if you'll give me that roll, which would be, in this case, survival orientation.
In theory, this is what I'm good at, although I see 2 1s and 2 2s, so that's only a 19.
Only a 19?
Let's just say I put all my points in survival.
Well, it shows.
That's fair.
Okay. So, Stryke, you're definitely an old hat at this. You've been north of this section of the wall many times before. And if they're saying that there's sightings near the forest, but if you can't track those wolves down, he wants you to head to the tower. There's only a handful of ways you could do both at the same time. And given this weather, of those 5 ways, maybe 2 would still be useful right now, given the conditions. You can either take a small trod that just gets you to the edge of the forest and then hops onto nature trail tread by some of the elk that go through here on a regular basis. Or you can take one that's further afield, but less likely to have encounters from the locals, which keeps it so that the forest maintains about half a kilometer from where you're walking. There's drop-off that's just to the east, that there's an overhang of a small plateau that you can just walk under. It keeps you closer to the sea, but farther from the forest. Which would you like to take?
I'm inclined to take the one by the sea, both to avoid trouble and because I agree generally that I'm not as convinced the wolves are a thing and that the ship is a thing. But I'm going to ask the Bruce guy and Dawsin and Elyon what they think.
I'm hoping for wolves. Honestly, I'm hoping for wolves. As much as I'd rather take the path that you're saying, I'd rather take the elk path and possibly find some wolves and get back, as opposed to walking 4 days to that damn tower.
You know me, I like to kill my wolves, but I've hunted a lot of wolves over the days. Perhaps it's something different today. What do you think, Dawsin?
You know that feeling that like old people get like when it's like cold or something, they say like their knees can feel it? It's like that, but just something about that tower. It's like a shot in the knee with that tower. It's just one of those things we feel it.
Great. Would you talk some sense into them? Stares at Elyon.
I mean, I like to hunt some wolves. I'd like to see Ferris kill something, if he can.
Okay, well, maybe we'll go look for those wolves by the forest then. And we'll see if there is anything out there. Might be a good warm-up for the greenhorns, too. So yeah, I'll get convinced to the elk.
Okay. So, we see probably what I'm guessing Strike's in the lead of, I'm fairly certain Bruce is in the back, as he doesn't want to walk quickly anywhere unless he's back here. Where can we find you, Dawsin? Where are you in your little convoy
It's
10 minutes?
probably a bit more towards the front, probably like front middle-ish.
Okay. And Elyon?
I think Elyon's probably hanging around wherever Ferris and Ogden are in this little marching order, because he's going to try and keep an eye on some of the newbies.
Ogden's towards the back, towards Bruce. Ferris has made certain that he is right behind Dawsin.
And in that case, I'll be like right between them.
Okay. Yeah, he took the advice that he got from Gary.
Behind the big one.
You see the human wall? Stay there.
To kind of Ferris a bit, he probably turns, like, kind of like leans a bit and turns around and probably says, "That's smart. If we were fighting wildlings, they go for the big wolves. They fight." And he just kind of like smirks to himself and keeps walking. That's a loud car.
Ferris fiddles a little bit with the sword, but then just produces one of the honey cakes and just starts eating them as they march. And yeah, you guys make your way. We have this wonderful pulling shot as we see this row of black walking out from the gates, from that kill zone that is always by the wall. 500 yards of absolute clearing. Another 500 yards where only a little bit of shrubbery is allowed, and then tree line. And the nice thing about Eastwatch is that tree line is only to the western part. For the rest of it is this rolling hill that then comes to a plateau. And then there's a drop-off, and you get to the coast road by that, which is all this tide plain, where the tide comes in, and when it does, it comes in fast. And all that lands comes waterlogged. It is rocky, it is sandy, it is awful. And it makes landing up here treacherous. It also makes sailing up here worse. But you're not having to worry about that for now. You're headed towards that ominous tree line, where there's that bizarre mix of branches whipping in the wind and sounds of who knows what creaking along that forest floor aside from you. And so, you travel. You travel a good while. And it's just when it's getting to dusk that I would like all of our brothers to make a survival track check.
Track, I've got survival.
not great for me because my survival's not great. But I got an 8.
17.
17, okay.
I'm
Snake
at
eye.
15.
Boy.
So, Bryndon, Elyon, you're not noticing anything. Dawsin, Stryke. You know to take a second look at things, but also you have a better idea of what to look for when you're traipsing through this forest. Elyon, let's be fair, you're great at guarding a keep. You're not somebody who traipses out here in the forest that much.
Yep.
Dawsin, Stryke, you know some old droppings. Looks like it might be elk. And as you go to inspect closer, that's when you see a paw print. It's a paw print that's about half the size of Dawson's hand. It's immense. And it's, Stryke, you think maybe a few hours old?
Oh, well, that there's a big wolf.
Yeah. Well, looks like the greenies will have a fun time. Has his axe onto his shoulder already.
It's nighttime, right? This was right at the end at camp,
This
correct?
is right at dusk. This is right. You might have, again, by the two of you guys' rolls, you are certain you've got maybe 90 minutes left of light left. Just enough time to set up camp.
You can tell Stryke is wants to go chase down this path, but he's chased down the tracks, but he probably best if we don't try to tackle this one at night.
Agreed. Fenris might get lost.
Why don't you go get him setting up camp and maybe a bit of a perimeter? I'm just going to do another sweep around to make sure, wolves travel in packs.
He is not active to setting up.
All right. Well, you're not too far away from a decent clearing. Not too big, but not too tight. We're able to pinch up a few tents and start getting things set for a night. Stryke, give me actually a survival notice. Notice is a specialty of awareness. But that's the beautiful thing
Are you
about
saying
this. You can use specialties for roles aside from the one that they're assigned to. I love this.
Okay, well, if I was going to beg the GM to have me roll a skill, that's what it would be.
The amount of dice. I just hear the number of dice.
I just heard a mountain come down, folks. There's
it
your
was okay. I
excessive
got a
marks.
24.
It's like asking me to make
Jeez.
an endurance check.
Okay. Okay.
It's like asking me to make an endurance strength check.
Okay, so Stryke, you know everything. All right. So you go and walk this perimeter. You manage to find the actual elk tracks. They're old. And you notice that they're heading off further into the forest. There's probably a small herd. Maybe you're guessing 15, maybe 20 head. And then there's the wolf tracks. There's 6 of these things. They're all big. All of them, paw prints are almost the size of Dawson's hand. One's really big. Unnaturally big, even for dire wolves. And last time you dealt with a dire wolf strike, that was a lone wolf, because they usually don't prey this close to the ocean. And that was 11 years ago. And even then, that thing took way too much work to put down. You've got 6. 6 greenhorns. Pleasant dreams. So,
I
who's
was
taking the
wondering
first?
yeah, when I get back to camp, I'm going to let Bruce, Dawson, and Elyon, our non-greenhorns, know that this could be rough. Big pack, lots of wolves. And then I'm just going to kind of walk through the greenhorns real quick and kind of give them a sleep well kind of thing. Stay alert tonight.
I want to see that sleep well moment between Stryke and Bryndon, please. I want to see this moment.
Sure. How was your time out
Pounding
here
his feet.
today, Bryndon?
It's very cold, sir. I'm really not used to it yet. I should be. I know I should be, but it just... Oh, it's cold. It's so cold, I think I'm gonna cry.
And you're probably tired to the bone, ready to pass out, sleep like a rock.
I haven't done this much walking in my life.
Well, one thing about rocks is they don't notice when the wolves show up. So I wouldn't sleep like a rock. Good night. And I walk on.
Oh, that's perfect. And in that quiet, terrible quiet moment, as camp's being made, Bruce gathers up the 3 of you, senior folks. Okay, I went off. I didn't want to believe it, but now I've seen it. There's 6 of those bastards. I'm not talking about greenhorns. 6. They probably took that entire pack out. That's the good news. It means they're probably fed and happy. But doesn't mean that they're not going to come snooping around tonight.
Agree.
So, how do we want to split this up? I mean, I've got my signal hole and I can make a hell of a racket. But unless those lads can get themselves together right quick, if a wolf comes to camp, it's going to make a hell of a scene. Do you want to take 2
I
watches?
think one or
That
two
makes
of us might have. I think I'm about to say the same thing that Bruce is about to say, so I'll just let him finish.
No. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad we're on the same page, so... How we want to split this up? 2 watches. 2 of us. Who's got first, who's got second?
I think Dawsin and I can probably take first.
As soon as you say that, he starts looking back and forth at the two of you. Just don't get distracted.
Fuck
All
off,
right.
Bruce.
Yeah. Just don't get distracted. He says that, like, dire sort of, don't you fuck this up, I don't want to die. I'm gonna go hit the snack then. I'll see you, Stryke, probably sometime in the middle of the damn night. All right. Meanwhile, as you guys are getting ready, camp's being made. Ferris has decided that now is the time to distribute all the honey cakes, as everyone's tents set up. And so everyone has a honey cake delivery from the honey cake fairy. And he is sitting in his tent, and pulls out what in other outfits, not yours, would be considered contraband. As he's got a couple of body books with him, going over the stories, and maybe a little bit of music as he's just sort of humming tunes to himself. Ogden is going through and making certain that around the camp there is a small, sharp something to stab something should he wander about and need to stab something. So those small knives are now being secreted throughout the camp. Waterman is just gnawing on one of those honey cakes and is taking the whetstone to his steel, making certain things are good and sharp. He's brought sword and dagger, but he also has a spear that he's making sure is being well honed and maintained, because he doesn't want to get close to anything that big. The others are bedding down early for the night. They have a feeling that they need to wake up really late.
I like to think that there's like 2-person tents like scattered around the zone. Just half surround.
Funnily enough, no, they're all small single-person tents.
Nice.
When you're
Dawsin probably has been a 2-person tent then.
You've got a 3-person tent. But no, most folks just have a single-person tent. That way, should a brother die out in the field, they can still operate. Because most of the time when you're dealing with a 2-person tent, you need that other person to carry some load. These guys travel light and travel to be their own unit. So, small quarters, small low to the ground. That way, it's easy to dust things off. It's easy to leave a small footprint. That way, the wildlings don't track you back. Or something worse. So, Dawsin, Elyon, you're alone as night drags on. It's probably a little after midnight when everything quiets down. You're left alone to talk.
Tasso's probably found like to sit on and has gathered up some of Ogden's knives and is just attempting to throw them into a nearby tree.
Always hated these kinds of things about the Bloodings. Standing watch.
Some of them are worse than others. I think when we took back the tower, probably a
Yeah, that tower did quite a bit to both of us.
Yeah, me still. Ugh. Not what it used to be.
Same thing with the back. So are you going to just stand there throwing knives in the trees, or you're actually going to keep watch?
I don't know. Maybe with a knife and I'll accidentally hit a wolf, maybe. Throw some. I'm not that perceptive, really. I'm probably more likely to hit a wolf with a knife than I am to actually see one.
Oh, maybe you'll get lucky tonight. The opposite will happen.
And at that moment, you hear a howl in the distance.
Can I
And you hear,
gauge how close that might be?
you have no idea. And you know you'll have no idea. This forest plays tricks. It's known for doing so. They might be right on top of you. They might be miles away. You have no idea. You can go and inspect, or you can hold your ground. What would you like to do?
Approximately, how far off are we from camp?
I want to say you have it just within line of sight. You still have a fire burning.
Okay, so if we needed to go wake up the greenbacks and stuff, it wouldn't take us long to get there and do that.
Full run, take you maybe a minute. Maybe.
Okay. Think we should wake up the greenies?
And he'll just kind of like try to key to the best of his ability, see if you can hear like footsteps or just padding of like feet.
Go ahead and roll me an awareness nose check at a 1-die penalty.
Nice. 1 dice, then. It's exactly what I'm rolling here.
Oh, boy.
A single d6. 5.
You don't have a great handle on distance. You think or you wish it's further away. You're not sure. But I'll give you this, since this is so rough. Go ahead and give me a education memory test.
2d6. 3.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Stories about this place, aside from the fact it's called the Haunted Forest and it fucks with people. That's the general gist you got from your brothers and what you can remember. Again, you're not the contemplative sort. So you don't know if you can trust what you're hearing and seeing or not.
In that case, he'd just be like, maybe, and he'll throw a knife into the darkness.
Alright. I guess better safe than... Oh, no.
You throw a knife in the darkness. Dumb fucking crows. You nearly hit me with that one.
Who are you?
I'm Rodrin, Night Runner Clan. So damn fucking loud, you fucking crows. Why the hell are you out here? Figured your old salts would all be over by the beach, not in the horse.
We have to take care of blooding or some greenbacks.
Wolf hunt.
Oh, you're hunting wolves now. Well, I won't stand in your way. Oh, six, they're strange. You all have fun with that.
So do we recognize that the Light Runner clan, is that like a wildling name, we assume, or
Night Runner clan is the most populous clan this close to your section.
Cool. Got it.
They have a reputation of being more settled than most other wildlings. They make their home in the forest. Sometimes they'll make cabins. Other times they'll actually just make homes in the trees themselves.
You wildlings seen any rather large wolves around your part?
Just told you about the six. I see they don't send the brightest of you to do the blooding.
Anything more like that and you'll have a crossbow bolt heading your way instead of a knife.
Yeah, you and your little army. You'll all be dead. You didn't just want to have this nice chat. He just points up, and as you crane up, you see there's probably 6 you can easily see with bows pointed towards the lot of you. You want to know why the fuck you're out here. If you're just after the wolves, that's all that matters. You guys can do your little ritual, but those 6 will tear you apart. We'll come by to pick up your shiny swords. Have a good night, Crow.
And Pope, tell me what his name was again?
Redrin,
Redrin Night Runner?
the Night Runner clan. And as soon as you start to look up to talk to him again, he's gone.
Cool. Probably just like shrugs and goes dives into the tree.
Oh, I think we should probably play it better safe than sorry. And, not necessarily full run, but probably like a jog almost, and we'll go and wake up the others that are sleeping. But sucks for them.
So you wake up all of camp. Why the fuck are we up? Where are the wolves?
Heard
I mean, I
some
have a
howling.
spear and a bow out. As soon as you wake me up.
Heard some howling. Dawsin and I just ran into some wildlings that were out and about. Tells me those things might be closer by than we thought.
Oh, fuck. Will you put out the fire?
Yeah, probably should.
Shit.
Is it about time for the next watch, or is it still pretty early?
It's still 2 hours away from when you were supposed to take watch. This sucks. You and Bruce are up. You're all on high alert. Some of the greenhorns are just like hearing words, wildlings, wolves being close. They're all just psyching themselves up or psyching themselves out, depending on the individual. I'm not gonna have you roll. The wolves don't get close. The howls keep happening. It's 2 hours later. The howls keep happening. You don't see hide. You don't see hide or hair of wildling. You've just been staying up in the middle of the night, ready for something to kill you. It's not showing up.
Would they just fucking come on already? Either come
Well,
and kill me or let
they
me
might
kill you.
need
Come
some-
on.
They might need some bait if you're offering. Like a good juicy morsel like you standing out there in the field while we get our bows ready, might.
Oh, it sounds like a plan
I'd
for a
rather
long
not.
time, for being honest.
But I appreciate the compliment.
Dawsin just shakes his head and is just continuing to pick up all of the knives in the camp and just throw them into the tree, the same tree.
Tree now has at least a count of 18 different knives.
Did the wildlings left, though? They're gone?
As far as we can tell.
Stryke, you're old enough. Go ahead and give me a cunning memory test on the Night Runner clan.
13.
You haven't personally interacted with them too much. But you know the rough reputation, which is somehow these wildlings were able to just jump willy-nilly from tree to tree. They're incredibly quiet. Almost unnaturally so. But that's just kind of par for the course up here. Every single clan seems to have something that can draw a relation to that's unnatural. Something strange about them. Night Runners is the quiet and the agility. They typically do not kill you guys on sight. They have an understanding with your commander than most other crows, since they're the more civilized of the free folk. They'll even occasionally come to the keep and trade, but they always look down on you. But if you encounter them out here, especially at night, it's because something's got them spooked. You know enough to know that.
Well, the one thing about the wildlings that they got right at the moment is that it's pretty hard to get eaten by a wolf in a tree. How are you all sleeping in trees?
To be honest, I have to break the tree.
That was mostly a joke, but I think it might be good for us, some of us on watch, maybe to, when I get to my watch, I'm going to plan on heading up a tree, get a good look at things.
Probably not a bad idea.
So is it 2 hours passed since they first came in, right? And we're still hearing wolf howling?
You're still hearing howls. They come just as you guys are starting to let your guard down. It's almost like they know how to fuck with you.
We don't have any food that smells great, though, right? Like most of it's like cram and
It's
the pastries.
hardtack. Aside from the pastries, which are now almost all gone, you have hardtack. You've got salt cod,
Yeah.
some salt pork. You have 2 days rashers of bacon, and some dried fruit. That's it.
Well, if we make it through the night, I got some ideas, but perhaps we'll see what happens till morn. But I am planning on spending my watch in a tree.
And best of luck, Stryke.
For his watch, and Dawsin will probably go around camp trying to set up just like makeshift alarms, more or less, like an old can or something. It's probably not cans nowadays. Are there cans?
They might have cans. They might have some bottles.
Nobody wet air watches cans. It's something enough to make noise if we got tripped.
You don't have access to too much that could do that. You might be able to set up 1 or 2 of these little noise traps. But you are in large. Okay, if you want to spend your time doing this, go ahead and give me. Ooh, what would that be? I'm going. Yeah, we'll go with a survival hunt check.
Nice. I'm good at those. I'm good at those. Okay. That is. But.
If you said a number, Colin, I think you cut out just as you were saying it.
Let me do my math. 18. That's it last time.
18. Okay. So you go ahead and set up 2 decent little traps. You've got a couple of bells that you bring with you, I'll say, and you've set these up to a couple of simple line traps with some thick thread, and you have them set up. I'm not saying there. By this time, a third hour has passed, and it's come to the agreement that most of the folks need to get back to sleep. Otherwise, tomorrow's going to be useless. So, Bruce and Stryke, it's your watch out.
As noted, my plan is to find a tree nearby, get a couple, get up it enough so that I'm a little bit hidden in there, get my bow out and wait to see what happens. I assume Bruce will be in camp, and if he hears any, I tell him if he hears any yelling to wake everyone up.
He's going to stay near camp, but he's going to be a little bit away. He's going to climb one of the trees near one of the traps. That way, if something gets past him, he's got the traps to at least order. Or if something comes near a trap, sets it off, he can immediately just fall upon the damn thing. And so you guys set your watch. Nothing more eventful goes by except for all those damn hounds. They don't seem to stop until dawn comes. When dawn finally does break, they stop. And they're howling with horror, almost like clockwork. Every 20 or so minutes, couldn't tell quite where they were. Yeah, it is a groggy, awful morning. A bunch of folks did not get nearly enough sleep. These folks are needing to break camp. It is bitter cold, even here in the forest, even with the break. The wind still howls in the upper parts of the trees, branches constantly moving, constantly rustling. But at least the howls have stopped. You have yourselves a terrible breakfast, aside from the last bit of honey cakes that people have secreted away and didn't chow down on last night. Try and get folks' energy up. You have some bitter tea, and you break up camp. Now the question is, where are you all headed?
I was planning on tracking the wolves. We had at least the start of a trail.
All right, go ahead and give me a survival track.
That's a 20 straight.
Straight 20. Okay, that's... All right. It takes you a little while.
I mean, sometimes it'd be better to fail a tracking check, but this time I succeeded. Guess we'll find him.
Yeah, you find those tracks, and yeah, they do eventually lead you off further into the forest. It is not easy going. There are a bunch of these root systems that you guys are having to trudge through, snow hiding them, ankle manglers. So far, no one has managed to hit a foot too hard on them. But it's like the forest is fighting all of you as you continue further and further in. And then you come to this small little clearing. And it is painted in blood. An entire herd of elk slaughtered. Most of them gobbled up, but there are bits and pieces strewn everywhere. "22 bodies in total, you think?"
This looks like a pleasant place to have a meal.
By the time you guys got there, it's been 6 hours. The wolves were 6 hours away from you think? Looks like they were here for a while. They were just having themselves a ball.
Does it look like there are...
bodies back here? Did it bring
Think
bodies
like
back, or is it just they just slaughter slaughter an entire herd, or just they would bring bodies back here?
They must have slaughtered a herd in just instants. Just going one by one and then hunting them to the last one and then dragging the last few back. They wiped out this herd systematically, thoughtfully, and then dragged everything back here.
Is this... Not sure Elyon would know this. Is this normal behavior for
Give
these
me
wolves?
a cunning memory test.
Oh boy. 2 dice.
I feel that.
7.
You have no idea. You have heard tell that dire wolves are some sort of bizarre peak predator out here that are bigger than normal wolves and have even better tactics, but you have no idea.
Cool.
Bryndon, would you like to give it a shot? You have been in the camps of the Greenhorns. You have heard all sorts of terrible stories, including some from the Maester. I will give you an additional bonus die on this check. Because you are more ready to talk to the Maester.
Sure. So this was what again?
Cunning memory.
Oh,
So you get to keep your
Nice of
cunning.
that.
You get to roll cunning plus memory plus 1.
Okay.
And you get to keep your cunning.
15.
Okay. You know by the
Nice.
stories between the other greenhorns and the maester, this ain't normal. Like, yeah, they'll take on a herd and take down, like, a number equal to them to keep them fed. But they don't wipe out herds. That takes way too much energy for an animal. And these are animals still. This is not what an animal would do.
Maybe I'm out of line here, but we're sure these were wolves, right? Wolves don't do this.
Sounded like wolves. I think it was just a bunch of people howling into the night, but I don't think people can even do this.
It doesn't make sense if they were just hunting for food. The time and the energy it would have taken them to take down all of them. It's like they were hunting for sport?
You think maybe like a wildling had him as a pet or something?
It just doesn't make sense.
I agree with Bryndon. This isn't normal behavior. This is like they were out for blood.
All the more reason we could kill him, I guess. If these things are still around, that means no deer for the back of the keep. Also means it makes any ranging expeditions a lot more dangerous.
Ferris
I agree, they
goes,
need to die.
you sure there's enough of us? That's an entire
Ogden over
herd.
there brought enough. Ogden over enough knives, I think.
Yeah, that's funny, Dawsin, but they did this to animals almost as big as a horse. Are you sure there's enough of us to deal with this?
I could probably take on one. I know it's to the rest, like Fenris, Bryndon, that would be another one. Fenris, Bryndon, and Ogden. They could take on like half. Yeah, no, I don't think we do.
So we should go back to the keep then.
Or we go to the tower, try to get reinforcements.
Or we could ask the wildlings.
Think they'll work with us?
Anyone's willing to work with anyone if you give them the right reward for it. We let them
Clearly
keep
you
the
haven't
meat.
understand.
Clearly, you haven't dealt with enough wildlings.
It's just a suggestion.
You don't know any better. Bruce chimes in. No. If they came to Dawsin and Elyon last night, they already know that these wolves are trouble. But at the same time, they hate us more than they think those wolves are trouble. If they came and gave you a heads up and let you go, we're sport for them. They'll deal with the wolves after they kill us. That's what Wildling would do. even the nice ones. So, do we make it for the tower and try and get reinforcements? Or do we double back to the keep?
Well,
Which is
agree with
closer to
Dawsin.
the keep?
Keep's only a day. It's 3 more days trucking through this to get to the tower.
I have a feeling the commander won't be very happy if we come back.
Commander might not be happy, but fuck, you've seen this. I mean, you're impressive, Dawsin, not gonna lie. And Stryke has the reputation he does for a reason. I may be able to take out one of these things now that I'm good and motivated. And Elyon, you plus 2 of the greenhorns might take out another. Okay, that's 4. The other greenhorns aren't going to take out the other ones. And that's not even bringing up to mention that one of them is distinctly bigger than the rest. Distinctly bigger.
Back to the keep to get our asses yelled at by the commander, then I guess. It's probably the best bet. We truck through the forest, we might run into them by accident.
Strike,
They
you got
walked
that
to
look
that
like
tower.
you won't press on.
Sorry.
That's alright.
Well, I agree that if we try and go after these wolves, not all of us are coming back. And that's probably not something the commander wants either. So I think we best play dumb and say we found no wolves and head to the
Head to the tower. So should we
head to the
double
tower.
back to the sea road? Or should we just try and cut through the forest to get there?
Well, how much of a test we want to put these greenhorns through? I like cutting through the forest and making it a little exciting. Maybe they'll learn something.
Okay. It's probably at least another day's trek before we get to the clearing. If we're just going to cut straight through. And then we can get to
Most
the sea
likely.
road. Still, good news is only 3 days out from the tower. It's going to be fucking miserable.
Welcome
Yes.
to
I
Night's
hate that
Watch.
you're doing the smile again. I fucking hate that smile.
I get the
Get
impression
used to
there's some joy out here. I like it out here more than I like it at the keep, so guess I'm in no hurry to get back.
Fuck. Alright, I'll get them all ready. Come on, greenhorns. Get your packs and everything together. Breaking up camp and we're trudging through the forest. We're making for the sea road. Enough of this wolf business. Put that behind us. Meet up with our brothers north. Double time it. You don't want to be stuck in here with more of that fucking howling. There's a lot of groaning and complaints, but it's all muffled because no one wants to piss any of you guys off. But it is miserable going. Absolutely awful. Who wants to try and navigate their way out of the haunted forest back to the sea road?
Alright, Mr. Survivalist. I think it's
I guess I'm being nominated for that.
All right.
not bad at survival. It's better.
Stryke, I want you to roll survival, but it's just straight survival. The forest is fighting you. It's not going to give you an orientation.
Well, I only got a 24.
Only a 24. Only.
Okay.
Only.
I've been rolling
okay.
single digits all night.
The highest DC you get for most things, I think.
Like, average DC is like a 12. 12's good. 9 to 12's good. No. 24. Yeah. Yuck it up. No,
I mean, just wait till we get into a fight or something, you know. But the survivalist thing I've got tackled.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, with you in the lead, they're able to cut through the forest. It is a fucking slog. As you are trying to make the shortest route and the fun route meet up. And yeah, no, this is a slog through almost knee-deep snow as you are going through the more untamed, off-the-path sections of this forest. Places that, you know, the Night Runners their feet don't even touch the ground here. As the density of the trees, they're almost on top of one another. And you all are cutting through single file through this forest, bypassing thickets by jumping down elevations. It is just harsh and full of the suck. This is boot camp. This is teaching the greenhorns to learn to love the suck, because this is just pure suck. And yeah, it is just that twilight hour as you finally think, you pray, you're hoping you're going to see clearing, you're going to see the road, you're going to see that plateau as you come to the edge of this forest. Aside from Stryke, everybody's miserable. Dawsin, Elyon, Bruce especially, has fucking hated this trek. Ogden has definitely lost a number of those knives along the way, like little breadcrumbs falling off his gear as he's having to jump down different elevations.
That's how the wolves found us.
Yeah, like Waterman has had to slow up to keep that damn spear with him, and try and travel with it. Ferris is just constantly cussing under their breath. The only one out of your greenhorns that doesn't seem to complain is Gary, the big fella. He just goes through, trudges, and makes oof noises as he has probably stubbed his leg and has probably got maybe a bone bruise or two, but he's just suffering through. As you finally make your way to being able to see something aside from tree trunks. And you see that plateau. It's almost like the Seven have decided to bless y'all with a beautiful sight as the sun is setting. But as the sun is setting, as you have made it through that hell, you see smoke in the distance. Just on the edge of sight, over the horizon, you see smoke.
Fuck me.
Not on the water, further in the forest. Just off further north, just as the coast road makes a crick, just as that plateau makes way for more green, there's a pip on the horizon, and that is most definitely smoke. That's not an encampment, because you guys have a good idea where the Night Runner camps are in that forest. That's not a camp. That's something else. You might be able to get there with an entire night's hike. If you trudge back up and through, you might be able to get there just as the sun rises again. What do you want to do?
So the smoke, like, what are we thinking? Is it looking like the tower camp is on fire or something, or?
Not the tower. That's multiple days away. No, this
Okay, yeah.
this is something else. You don't know what. It's in the forest, though. And that smoke is black. Black.
So like forest fire black.
No. Someone making that black smoke, there's fat in it.
Well, then I'll turn to the three other seniors. We think that's a problem?
I think it's a good way to get 6 wolves to show up.
Question is if there's anyone else there.
That hell. Do we even care? Do we even fucking care at this point?
To be honest, I don't. It doesn't really look like it's anything that concerning.
The greenhorns all look pretty solidly like they're ready to just collapse, right?
Die. They are looking like they are ready to die. They have accepted death.
If we've stopped, Bryndon is on his knees.
Yeah, you guys have stopped for a bit, and like everyone except maybe Waterman, who for pride reasons is using the spear as a way to prop himself up. The rest have all either lied down, they're on their knees, they're sitting. Again, they have had a day. And we're seeing that they've had a night.
And it's not close enough that we could, like, run over there at night and be back before dawn. Like a small group or anything.
No,
Okay,
not through the density of that forest. Yeah, you know this area, Stryke, and this is... You went purposely the rough way. It is just nothing but rough between you and that point on the horizon.
Well, I don't think we've got much option but to rest and check it out in the morning. But I think we best check it out. There's probably more death than blood ahead.
I concur with that.
And so you guys make camp on the plateau. Probably keeping just enough forest behind you to Dawsin if you want to set up your traps again.
Yeah, why not? Check. Should I make a check for it, or?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a survival hunt.
It's not bad. Oh, that's pretty good. 19.
Nice. Yeah, your traps are set well along the tree line. If anything's coming through in the 2 human-sized gaps that are close by, they're going to have to go over your trap. But yeah, no, sunset here is glorious. It's absolutely beautiful. I think maybe only Stryke can appreciate it, as everyone else here is just slogging with their gear, setting up their tents, and most of these guys, like, they're not even like sharpening swords or reading books or going through their gear. They are just stuffing dried fruit down their gullets, drinking water, and then going to sleep. These men are spent. Absolutely spent. And as darkness takes the sun, there's no howls for a while. Just as the moon is probably at its highest in the sky, maybe about 2 a.m., one incredibly loud howl rings out. Wakes pretty much the entire camp.
Catch a
It's
Stryke.
not close, but it's so loud. It's almost like it's roaring in concert with the damn ocean that you can just barely hear in the distance. And then a couple of minutes pass, and it's like all of them are howling at once. All 6 of those damned beasts. Just letting out one victorious cry. Just to keep you up. And then it's quiet again. Incredibly quiet. You wait an hour, not a single other howl is heard. Most of the men start getting back to sleep. Trying to sleep. But yeah, not another howl was heard that night, except for those 2 blasts.
Probably when the howl is heard, you just hear coming from inside Dawson's tent, "Piss off, wolves," and you hear like the shifting of like a pillow like going over his ear.
You guys get a rough night's sleep, but you get the sleep. As things maintain being quiet. Nothing breaks the traps yet. But everyone feels like shit that morning. More so than usual. The muscle aches between everybody. Like, all the greenhorns are moving slow. Actually, Bryndon, give me an endurance check. I just want to see how fucked you're feeling.
Oh boy. 3 whole dice.
3's not awful.
Yeah, the roll was though. That's 6.
Oh no!
Oh, you feel like shit. Like, this is like if you've ever experienced like training for a marathon, that like first 2 days of pushing yourself farther than you normally do, and your body just going, "What? Who the fuck do you think you are? What the fuck are you doing?" As like all the tendons are tight, every bit of muscle in your legs just is howling. Your lungs almost burn, especially in that cold air. It's just, you feel terrible. Absolutely terrible. And all of your fellow greenhorns are also just in different degrees of misery. Some complaining louder than the others. Even Bruce looks like he's had a bit of hell, because he doesn't go on these normal treks. He's used to, like, pissing off the commander aboard a boat. Not this. And even he is smarting in the morning. He even breaks into a little bit of his contraband and takes pity on everybody and starts making some coffee. He doesn't even he's not even talking. He's just gesturing for people to bring a mug over and just pouring this brown liquid into goblets that is being drunk.
Bryndon guzzles his down like it's the nectar of the gods. He just... His audible sounds of rapture as it hits his tongue.
Elyon takes the mug, but more uses it to keep his hands warm than to actually drink it.
Anyone else in the command crew partaking, or are you leaving?
Yeah, it does. Probably goes there because I'm just like holding the entire mug just in his hand.
Stryke takes a sip, but he seems impatient to be moving this morning, but not hard ass enough to actually kick everyone into gear right away.
And slowly, the greenhorns first start rousing and moving. This is a slow breakdown of camp. As finally the fire is put out, tents are picked up, packed. Everyone gets their stuff together, and like Bruce comes up to you guys and is just like, "So we're still going out there and inspecting whatever the fuck that was?"
Afraid so, Bruce.
All right.
Best to know what our enemies are rather than not.
Yep. I'm understanding why some of our brothers work so hard to get horses. Horses are great. Horses are fantastic. I am never going to speak poorly of cavalry ever again. As you guys...
I feel like I need a special horse for me. I don't know if the others could hold me.
I need to find you a fucking mammoth, Dawsin. It's the only thing that's going to carry your ass.
I'll ride a mammoth. If you're offering.
Yeah, it's more out towards the frost fangs that the mammoths are. That and the damn walrus men have a couple of them, but that's clear on the opposite side of Westeros. Oh, fuck this day.
Bruce, I'm glad you're enjoying our trip.
You're fucking smiling again. He's not even looking at you.
Yeah, he knows.
Elyon stifles a chuckle.
The greenhorns are helping, starting to actually help each other out, get themselves put together, as this is awful. Some of the greenhorns are starting to give you the looks, Stryke, that they used to give Elyon when they were going through drills and were contemplating murdering him in his sleep. They're giving those looks to you now.
I think fully recognizing those looks, Elyon just looks to all the greenhorns. Just like, wouldn't try it. It's been here longer than all of us.
It's okay, Elyon. I think they're all too tired to actually try it.
Oh, but Ogden brought a bunch of knives. He can just stab somebody, according to him, but can barely hit a damn training dummy.
Maybe I can throw Ogden at Stryke over there, and the knife will happen to catch him.
Then Ogden will finally hit something.
Now some of the stairs are going to the rest of you instead of Stryke.
We're just hating them so hard right now.
Like, no, I want to say, yeah, even Perrin, who has been like a model student in Waterman, are just kind of exchanging looks with Ogden and just looking at the three of you. Because they see Bruce and they're just going, he'd let us walk back. He hates it here as much as we do. But those three
Bruce
need
is
to die.
Bruce is cool. You guys suck.
Yeah, Bruce is cool,
Bruce is my dad.
We're the uncool, strict dads, and like
Bryndon leans in really close to Ogden and says as quietly as he can, "How much effort do you think it would take to shove Elyon up Dawson's ass?"
More than we've got the strength.
It's a nice fantasy.
Stryke shrugs and says, "It's harsh out here. You either get tough, or eventually you're not going back. So, thank me later. Let's get moving."
They start getting moving. A number of them contemplated saying something, but they just stifled it. One, because they're tired, and two, because it wouldn't be worth whatever he would follow up with. It's just not worth the damn effort as you proceed onward. I'm not even going to have you roll survival orientation. I am fucking offended. We are just going
no, let him roll. Maybe he'll roll bad this time.
He'll roll 30.
You're starting outside the forest. When you actually get into the thick of it, then I'll have him roll as you get closer to the thing that might actually, make it to the results 15. Yes. So you guys proceed back on the fastest path to where that smoke was. It is, if you thought yesterday sucked, that was going downhill. This is going uphill. This is going uphill, climbing, using ropes. This is worse. As the rest of the greenhorns are realizing, this is just going to be worse. There's not words in these complaints. There's just noises. There's just the noises of men suffering as they are grunting their ways up ropes, trying to find handholds in these little tiny cliff sides to get back up, holding on to roots, trying not to slip in this ice-covered hellscape. And then's the squeezing, going through thickets, tight corridors with trees that seem to try and choke off any path. A number have stubbed and jammed toes. Somebody might have an entire jammed foot at this point. Gear is starting to get more and more worn as the cloaks are starting to catch on things. Stuff is tearing. It is just hell out here for these men. Pure, unadulterated hell. It takes you 9 hours of this heck till you finally get to a clearing. You get there. I need all of you, and I do mean all of you, to give me stealth sneak checks.
Oh boy, I'm super good at those.
Yes, big man, sneak
I
well.
can actually kind of do.
Ooh, big man
Okay,
will
okay.
sneak well.
I mean, I guess I'll take 8.
Ah, see, I think I got you beat with a 4.
Excellent. Excellent.
Maybe
Good work.
I'm in the lead with a 10 then.
Oh
Nope,
my
I got you
god!
beat. 13.
We're so good.
Okay.
Oh, Bryndon.
Big man, make noise.
The average stealth for the rest of the team, the rest of the 6, is an 11. So what I need to do is, at this point, is roll for the individual that is currently chopping wood in this clearing. Okay. So, here's the scene that greets you. There is a clearing. There is the remnants of a pyre. There is a small log cabin. The pyre remnants, you can tell there was around the area something bloodied. And another pyre is slowly, well, the wood for it at least, it seems, is being gathered and split by this individual on the opposite side of the clearing near that cabin. And he continues to chop wood. Then he pauses for a moment, turns, gazes right at the lot of you, and then goes back to chopping wood. I want all of you to make me awareness notice tests.
Awareness notice. Okay.
Big man not see well.
15.
6.
Only 11 here.
19.
Jesus.
Okay. Dawsin, Stryke, you just see a large man, not nearly as large as Dawsin, but a large fellow, like 6'3", 6'4", maybe. Definitely looks like somebody who lives out here. Maybe a little pale. Elyon, you notice that with bits of his gear, there's definitely some bloodstains. Bryndon, you're the only one that notices the eyes. They're blue. Terribly bright blue.
Character not know what that mean, but I know what that mean.
Yeah.
And just as you recognize those bright blue eyes, doesn't quite register for you yet. A dire wolf comes into the clearing, goes up to the gentleman who's chopping wood. He pauses, ruffles the doggo.
Oh, good doggo.
This massive wolf just kind of like ruffles the muzzle, pats, makes this odd clicking noise.
Oh, good.
And the dog seems to the wolf seems to understand whatever the fuck that meant. Just kind of gives him a slight like head nuzzle to the hand, and then runs off. And after that, he just gets back up off of one knee, looks at all of you again, and then goes back to chopping wood. What do y'all do?
I told you they were being led by someone.
I assume that Bryndon points out that this guy had bright blue eyes to us.
Yeah, although I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Well, we'll point this out. I want to hear this. I want to hear this conversation.
Okay.
Did
anybody else see his eyes?
I was more distracted
people
by the
have
giant
eyes.
wolf,
His eyes are so blue.
Blue?
They're so blue. I don't think I've ever seen blue eyes like that before.
The only one old enough here to understand what that means is Stryke. Go ahead and give me a cunning memory test.
16.
Ooh.
I was about as good as I could roll there.
That's a white of some sort. It's not a walker, because it doesn't look that odd sort of desiccated. But that's a white of some sort. Most whites are not nearly that intelligent. Something is terribly wrong.
Yeah, I think we're in trouble, folks. I get my spear ready.
Seeing weapons being drawn, Dawson gets his axe out.
Gonna load a bolt into my crossbow and just be ready to shoot, and then pull out my sword after that first shot goes off.
Honestly, I'm not that great at talking to people, but I don't know if it's worth trying to talk.
I'm not necessarily the best talker either, Stryke.
Is that a person?
But I think we want to be out of the open pretty quick, as I gesture towards where the wolf went.
We get in the
So-
house.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's totally what I'm doing. I try and lead everyone towards get the greenhorns moving towards the cabin. Do we pass close to the guy on our way there?
If you all are rushing for the cabin,
I think it's more of a hasty trod.
oh no, they're motivated because they see you running, and they saw this exchange and don't know what the fuck's going on. But they know well enough if you guys are booking it, they need to book it. And he's just in the middle of a swing down as you're trying to book it across this clearing. Swing goes down, leaves the axe in, and he just turns, stares at all of you as, I want to say, Elyon, you're probably the fastest of the bunch. Get to the door. And he just points at all of you, makes this terrible rattling sound as he opens his mouth, and just points back towards the direction of the wall. And just gives you a long, hard look as you finally get to the door.
I don't know how to communicate with these things. I think he's telling us to leave.
Cabin? Or what do you do?
Why am I the one that has to make this decision?
You want us to leave, sir? You want us to leave, right? You want us to leave? You want us to go back to the wall? I think he wants us to go back to the wall.
Is that a he still? What is it thing?
I think it's something we probably shouldn't fuck with.
just points at all of you again, points back in the direction of the wall.
Thing is telling
I've
us to
probably
go
gotten
back.
close to a pyre now. Can I see what was burning on it?
This is a high-stress situation, I would say. So I'm going to say this is a awareness notice test. Roll me a penalty die first. So you'll be subtracting this number from your total.
Okay. Penalty die was luckily a 1. Yay. Okay. 15 with the 1 subtract.
15. It's a mix of wood and bone. Some of it's reindeer, some of it's elk, some of it's human.
I think that actually brings up more questions than it answers.
Like, were there Night's Watch in that pyre?
All you have is bone and ash. And on that note, that's where we're going to end this evening. With bone and ash.
We'll have all week to decide what to do.
So,
Excellent.
I want to thank all of you for joining us this evening as we start off with our tale of Brotherhood of Shadows. We'll do some house cleaning announcements at the end, but I want to give each of these wonderful people time to plug their stuff, have a moment to talk. And so first we're going to go with our amazing survivalist, Stryke. Greg, how you doing, mate? How was your evening, and where can we find?
Okay, yeah, I'm Greg. I run a lot of games with Black Shield Productions. We have a Discord, and you can hopefully that's somewhere on on Blackshieldprod Twitter. You can find us there. Did you want me to do anything else?
No, just plug your stuff.
Okay.
Also, how are you enjoying this system, this story so far? I know we're just getting into it, but
well, I'm enjoying playing a competent character for the moment. I have a history of playing incompetent characters, so at the moment that's good. And I'm pretty excited to see how my relationship with Bryndon goes as we go forward here. So we'll see. I always like you once.
awesome. Let's see if you all survive or who goes first. Speaking of going first, hi Bryndon, hi Celeste. How is it playing our greenhorn in this group of established brothers?
I feel so out of my depth. And every time Bryndon's wanting to pop off at the mouth, but he's not. He will eventually. He'll pop off at the mouth, but for now he's being a good boy. Hi, I'm Celeste PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I'm Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. I don't stream myself, but I show up on other people's channels all the time, right here on Penny for a Tale. I'm excited to get back to this next week. But is it this coming Sunday, or are we on our off week? We should be back with Masked Sunset City. We should be back with Masked Sunset City after a brief hiatus. But oh boy, am I excited to get back and find out what's going to happen with that, because that was intense, and Party Crasher's not doing so hot. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I don't really think I've got a whole lot else going on. I do have an appearance on Channel Colonomicon in February, but that's not for a little while yet. But that'll be a Pokemon one-shot, and that'll be a lot of fun. So
that's
a much
fantastic.
different tone from this here. So
Yeah, I
see you
think
guys then, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Jakku, yes.
Yeah.
Jakku, that'll be fun.
So on the notes of fun, Spencer, How you doing, friend? Where can we find you? And how do you feel playing Elyon, our master of arms, and dealing with all this nonsense?
Yeah. Well, I'm having fun with the system so far. Elyon's spooked as fuck because he doesn't know what the bright, blue-eyed, pale thing is. But yeah, I am Spencer DVA on Twitter, Twitch, even though I don't really stream on Twitch ever. Yeah, this is the only thing I really have going on streaming wise because I'm currently in my last semester of college, so I have to focus on my senior capstone for my performance major. So that's going to be taking up most of my time other than this. So yeah, it's going to be fun figuring out what's going to happen to Elyon and these group of brothers in the Night's Watch, and hoping that the Greenhorns don't try to stab Dawsin, Stryke, or I in our sleep, apparently.
Good luck. You better kill him with that first hit, because it won't end well otherwise.
And on the notes of that first hit, Colin, Dawsin,
Yeah.
how you doing, buddy? Where can we find you? How is the story treating you so far?
Yeah, I'm at Colin C or Colin_C_Kelly on Twitter. I do a couple of other things. The main one being Into Deep, our Waterdeep Dragon Heist, all LGBTQ plus cast on Tuesdays at 6 CST, 7 EST, and it's advertised in PST, so all the time zones for PST. That's really fun. This week, unfortunately, we did not have a proper session as one of our players had life things come up, and it being only the second episode, and me being the GM and considering events coming up, I wanted the entire party to be unified, so we did a little Q&A. But that was fun, nonetheless. That's more or less the only thing I do right now. I also publish a couple things. My most recent thing, just literally today, I think, hit 40 sales on Drive Thru RPG. It's a Zweihander module on called Devilish Undertones. If I can get to 50, I'd hit Copper bestseller, and God, that would be amazing. Yeah, that you can find my Twitter bio. And yeah, it's been fun playing the beat stick. I haven't gotten to beat with the stick yet, but once I do, I look forward to 1v1ing a direwolf.
I think you might get your chance here. You all are going to have to tune in next week to find out. Speaking of other things on Penny for the Tail, Friday night, Beginner Pathfinder campaign Thronebreaker at 8:30 Eastern, and that, again, new Pathfinder stuff, amazing. And then Sunday is episode 44 of our Age of Ashes campaign, same time. This has been an absolute delight to work with all these people, and I am looking forward to where we're going and what terrible decisions they make and how badly it goes. I wore my Tom Berry shirt for a reason. So, if you want to see more of this ridiculous face, you get a number of opportunities coming up. This Sunday, as was mentioned, on Matev7's channel, 9:30 Eastern, we are back for the Neon with Young Heroes in Masked Sunset City. Then coming back around the horn on Wednesdays, I have a double feature if you really want to see me. Over on Follow Black Cats, we continue on with the spy game, Hexcrawl, where I'm an absolute terrible human being. Then I get to come here and be even worse. So don't miss out. But big plugs I want to give are for Friday over on Valdrian's channel at, I believe it's 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern. We start another new campaign of Lancer, Shades of Tartarus. I'm brand new to the system. It's got a really cool cast. I'm looking forward to it.
Big mix.
And one last thing, for those of you who may want to get into this kind of dealio, Weave the Tale is currently doing signups for their new season. So go ahead and check them out on Twitter at Weave the Tale. There's signups for new and interesting systems like Mora, Parslings, Great American Witch, Black Void, and Nibiru. So if you're interested in doing stuff like this, by all means, I implore you, if you've got the time, you've got the ability, please sign up. And I want to thank all of you, because a performance is nothing without an audience. And so wherever you are, whether you're watching live, VOD, YouTube, you're as much a part of this as we are. Thank you so much. And with those dark and terrible notes that we end in our tense situation in this story, let it be the opposite in your life. Let things be bright. Have wonderful people to tell stories with as we gather around our campfire. All right, everyone. Take care. See you soon.